Um, Good. Welcome to the SLCP meetup. Today's topic: financial sustainability. Um, I did have a guest speaker set up, but due to I think a lot of us in the Northeast are dealing with some weather today, so they had canceled. So um, you know don't have any guests to share with us, so we'll open it up to all of you. Feel free to chime in and discuss or ask any questions regarding the financial sections of the action item form, or we can open it up to any topics. Um, if anybody has any burning questions, so as you work through the action item form, and if you're looking for some help or some answers, please feel free to share. Happy to discuss anything. Um, and with that, I'll start talking about the section on financial sustainability, and if anybody has anything, feel free to jump right in, stop me at any time. I certainly don't want to bore anybody. So in the hopes to make this productive, feel free to chime in and participate. So the financial sustainability section is really a great section that brings awareness to the library staff members who don't regularly or may not regularly deal with the financial side of things. And it definitely, the action items help give a better understanding of how the finances work at the library. At least that's for sure the goal of the section. There's the educational component to each of the action items. Just really bring the awareness. It also shows the importance of staff involvement, and really bringing that sustainability team together. Because in some cases, the lead person working on through the certification process is not the person on staff who handles the library's finances. So it forces us to reach out to those people in our buildings, and ask questions, and expanding our knowledge on the finances of the library, and getting the library's business manager or finance department involved in the process. So they may be a part of the team, they may not be, but you're going to need to have them involved in one way or another to respond to the action items here. There's certainly no one way to do it, as you all know, and it's this section is not meant to be difficult, but finance might not be a strong suit for some of us, but this section definitely brings awareness, by going through the action items, and the benchmarking of the action item form is there to help members kind of systematically determine what would be an ideal way to do things in regards to the finances. So in the for the public libraries and for library systems, the first action item is to analyze the financial position. So this is kind of looking at, where is your money coming from? Is the library in debt? Are we borrowing? Again, and if you're not the finance person for the library, this is a nice way to really learn about those things and educate yourself and your colleagues. Do you have a line of credit that you're using? Are you getting state aid? Um, the K1, it helps guide the decision making for the future, and lets you know where you stand as a group, and what the library's financial status is. again, feel free to jump in, as I'm gonna go through the action item form, through the section at least. So if there's something that pops up, feel free to share. K2, determining an adequate fund balance. So
Alex,
multi.
Alex, can
Yes, yes. Hi, Marie. How are you?
good. I'm eating, so that's why I'm sort of blacked out here.
No worries. It's lunchtime.
So I have to confess, I was surprised. I'm like, I forgot about this part. I have one thing already checked off. So our budget is completely part of the town budget,
Mm-hmm.
and we just received a grant to move forward with the planning and design for a new or renovated facility. So at some point in the future, I would assume, provided all goes well and the town's like, yay, we want a new library. The town will have to do a debt exclusion borrowing bond process. How does that, uh, like, and I don't have a lot of control over salaries. Actually, I have zero control over salaries. But how would that sort of fit into here? Sorry, I got sidetracked. I meant the debt exclusion bond thing for a newer renovated library.
That's a very good question, Marie, and I have to say I'm not exactly sure at the moment how that would fit in. To be honest with you,
The library, I mean, it's not like we have someone donated last summer, so we have a separate foundation and a private community foundation fund.
mhm,
We do get little donations here and there. That's a gift fund, but the bulk of our budget is, a percentage of the town here. I have no control over it. I can submit my budget, but generally speaking, they do what they want.
mhm. I mean, I think as far as like the any like, grant funding you may receive, could fall under in that in what K3 is, creating a strategic financial plan, because that's kind of analyzing what funds that you need and what you're going to do with them. Um, it's important to obviously plan and come up with a strategic plan to figure out, what you're going to do with those funds and how you're going to, use them. I'm sorry, I don't have a perfect answer for you, if any, but I'm happy to look into it for you if you'd like.
Okay, no, I just was, I'll just carry on, and when I have further questions, I'll ask again.
No, absolutely. Thank you for chiming in. I do appreciate that. Um, so let's see, where were we? Determining your adequate fund balance. Which is the K2. So kind of looking at what, based on your position, determining what is the adequate fund balance to do the work that you need to do in your community, and based on what the community wants and needs or expects from the library. Um, you know, determine in an ideal world what is the adequate fund balance to continue operations. Um, do you have a fund balance policy that certainly could be helpful, or a cash flow reserve fund to help fund operations until you receive state aid, or you want a fiscal year or a calendar year with your budget? Um, Analyzing library's cash flow needs to determine the fund balance needed to serve the public and ensure the business continuity and the library during financial disruption. Those are all things, that come with determining your adequate fund balance. Uh, some libraries use a line of credit for a safety net, or having a cash flow reserve fund in order to cover expenses until the start of the financial year. Uh, Moving on to the create a strategic final plan. financial plan, I'm sorry. So that action item is all about what can we do as a library to get the funds that we need, and all these action items really fall into place and go, in order, the order that they do, analyzing the financial position, determine adequate fund balance, and kind of rolls right into K3 with creating a strategic financial plan. Um, what can we do as a library to get the funds that we need to do the work that we're doing? And it's important to have a plan and develop a plan, and how we're going to get where we need to be. Reviewing a plan for current and future revenues and expenses on a monthly basis. Planning and developing a strategic plan for how you are going to get to your adequate fund balance. Um, whether it's through fundraising, grants, talking to legislature, and getting different kinds of aid that's available. Um, K4 is your ROI, return on investment, and this again is about education, kind of not only for ourselves, the staff, the trustees, and our community, and just showing people, how we're doing things as a library. Um, we all have, a lot of shared services through, the interlibrary loan and ebooks and things like that. So how can we show our community that we're saving money, um, and how to measure the community's return on investment, and the library's value to the community, making it quantifiable. K5 is internal financial controls. You could put in a financial control policy. Regular audits are important. Um, I know, at the last time we discussed financial sustainability, in our meetup, um, one of the members shared, they implemented a positive pay, on all checking accounts, creating an additional layer of internal controls, on the finances and banking activity, making sure that there's no, fraudulent activity going on, kind of, helping with that, or implementing ACH, the automatic clearinghouse payments. So this way you're, electronically transferring funds to vendors or programmers, rather than just sending checks out, which could get lost in the mail, be delayed, stolen, whatever. So the automatic clearing, the ACH payments are safer, and kind of, again, it's another extra layer of safety, and it limits the exposure of the funds in your account, protecting your money. K6, providing a living wage. This is all about advocating and figuring out how to provide a living wage to staff members. Um, Providing a living wage to all full-time employees, and kind of eliminating that almost full-time position, or positions, I should say. Um, K7 is equality in pay for librarians. This is definitely an important way for us to show, that we value our staff, and which is important to do, because if you don't value your staff, how do you expect others to, on the outside, to value you? Uh, this could be done by researching what say a local teacher's starting salary is, and comparing that to, the uh, starting pay for a librarian, comparing the salaries and making sure that they're equal. um, Conducting an equity study, and making sure staff receive equitable pay for their respective positions. Again, feel free to jump in at any time. I'm just going through this section. As I
I don't either.
K8 is providing health insurance, providing your staff with options. Again, there's the educational component there, letting staff, educate themselves on how much the insurance actually costs. Um, and same goes with K9, providing access to pension or retirement plan for full-time employees. And it gives staff an outlet to find a good plan by the library doing the research and finding a good plan for our staff members rather than them going out on their own. The library is doing the research and saying, this or these are, good pension plans, and educating maybe some of our younger staff to start contributing early and often, as often as they can, um, contributing money towards their pension plan. That'll definitely come in handy. So if we can provide that information to our staff, it's important and can definitely lead to a more secure work environment and a longer tenure for our staff. So section K, those are the action items in that section. It's a shorter section of the action form. Does anybody have anything they'd like to add or share? Anything involving in regards to financial sustainability? Again, we could open it up to any questions or any interesting things that anybody would like to share.
Sure, I'll share, I was share.
Thank you.
I had a staff member freak out yesterday. She's like, I'm almost 26. My dad says I have to get on health insurance, and she was all stressed out. So I hooked her up with the HR person. And so I hope she's less stressed now, but she's off today. So I don't know.
Yeah, it definitely is. That definitely is a stressful thing. When you start, a job, if it's full time and, the first day filling out all that paperwork, it can definitely be daunting if you're not familiar. If it's a first job or even if it's not, just providing those learning opportunities. I'm sure the HR person that you hooked them up with was able to explain things to them. I think that's the kind of the beauty of the financial sustainability section, providing, forcing us as library staff to kind of educate ourselves about how the finances in our organization works. uh, can go a long way. Anybody else have any stories they'd like to share in regards to uh, finances in our libraries or anything at all, really?
I guess I can ask a general question.
Sure, yeah.
I'm at a college library, so we have lots of we don't have a lot of autonomy with our budget and things, just because of where we're situated. Do you have any, I guess, or anybody have general advice for situations where there's certain things kind of outside of your control? When it comes to finances, I mean, a lot of times, our budget is, this is what you get. And we advocate, like, I will say, in the past, we've advocated for upgrades to some of our staff positions and have not been successful. is that still stuff that if we try that again and it's not successful, we should document that we tried, or should we leave that out because we weren't successful?
No, I think just the fact I think it's important to definitely document that, and the fact that you're trying, that's what the certification program is all about, just showing that intention and, showing that you're advocating for your staff, for, the whether it's, equality in pay, or providing a living wage, or, whatever it was for that situation. I think it's definitely documented, and put that in there, because that is definitely what it's all about. It doesn't mean it's not we're not seeking, perfection. Just the fact that you're, advocating and being intentional, showing that you're trying to do this. That's what it's all about. That definitely uh, fulfills that action item that you're working on.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Who else would like to share anything at all? Doesn't have to be related to this section, could be anything.
Do you have a limit, a time limit
A time limit for
to get it
for
done?
no, there's no time limit. It's up to you. Whatever goal that you set, for yourself, to complete the certification program, that's up to you. There's no time limit. You don't have to finish it in a year and a half or whatever. It's all, however long it takes is how long it takes. Good question though. We do have a recording of the last financial sustainability meetup in the on-demand webinars section. I definitely encourage folks to check that out if this is a topic that you're looking for more information on. We had some really good guests that day, and that shared a lot of good information. You drop the link in the chat if you're interested in that.
I have a question that's slightly off topic.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you, Kristen.
Does anybody have the e-charging stations? And have they had any experience with like putting those in and what they might charge patrons for how long and that kind of stuff? Does anybody here have any of that experience? Because we're looking into implementing that.
We do have them here at SCLS, which I'm sure you're familiar with. We don't charge people to use the chargers, but I know there are other libraries in Suffolk, from my experience, that do. Do you know what company that are you already working with, a company in particular, or?
We don't have a company yet, but we've signed on with Tansy for his like he's going to be implementing them.
Oh, okay. All right. I can definitely look into it for you, Kristen, and get back to you. I don't have information in front of me, but I'm happy to do a little looking into it and see what others are doing.
Yeah, just curious, when we get to that point, like, how many hours are you like, are they paying for? How much are you charging? How many hours do we do free? Like that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Trying to
Yeah,
get all my information together when it comes our time.
absolutely. Yeah, I'm happy to look into that for you. No problem.
Thank you.
You got it. Anything else anyone would like to share, or any questions about anything? Feel free. Well,
I guess I can ask another question. It's kind of
please.
academic related, so I apologize to other
No,
libraries.
no worries.
Could something where we leverage our existing licensing agreements to allow for our faculty to publish open access in a cost neutral way be something that we could use in the financial section to be financially responsible, or is that kind of off of the general idea?
Is it? I don't know exactly. Can you give? Is there a
Sure.
specific action item, or what is the?
So what a lot of well, some academic libraries have done is they'll say, okay, so we pay, X publisher, a lot of money to have access to the content.
Okay.
But now they're coming up with these transformative agreements where we can basically have access to publishing open access that we can share with our faculty, so that authors can publish open access at no cost to them, and then it's obviously readily available to the public. And that service or that opportunity doesn't cost the library any additional money, because we've been leveraging our license agreements to include that as part of the agreement. So we're providing more open access opportunities for faculty and the public, but not changing anything to our budget.
No, I think that definitely would fit in. I'm not exactly sure where, but if there is an action item that you feel like that's appropriate, I think that definitely would make sense to me.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else anybody would like to talk about?
Well, I wanted to like mention, since our libraries on Long Island here have gone fines free, there's a couple different sources of some revenue that we've implemented to help offset. So we have picked up different sort of like mini business centers, and those are some of them are still changed, but we've implemented 2 credit card machines on there, and people are using them a lot more, we've noticed, when they can swipe their card. So they're more apt to use more of that. So that has become a little bit of a revenue source for us to help offset that. And then passports,
Yeah.
because they require you to charge a fee. So that has also been a little revenue source if there are other libraries looking to offset some of that.
Thank you. That was great. Thank you for sharing. Those are definitely great ways. I agree.
Can I ask Kristen a question? So we're considering going with the business center with using credit cards, but for it to be completely unpersoned, all machines, is that how you have it set up, or do they have to come to a desk to pay?
No, it's right there on the machine. I mean, obviously,
Yeah,
sometimes they need help. So
Yeah.
we do have like desks that are not too far away to help them. But yeah, no, the point of it is that it's self-serve, and they could swipe and do everything, swipe the card right there. So people are more apt to use more and make more copies if they don't have to dig in their, like coin purse. So who
Do you-
carries change or cash with them anymore? Everybody swipes their card. So that definitely, we saw a boost in that when we
Do
moved
you-
over to that.
Do you know what system you use?
Ours is through a local company called SLCP. I can drop their information.
Okay. Because I don't know, our tech guy
Sorry,
has
we're
this
on
whole,
Long Island. I don't know. Like I'm
oh,
Sachem, so that's Holbrook on Long Island.
yeah, well, we're not too far away in New Jersey, but our tech person is talking about this Envision where everything is interconnected. It's totally confusing to me. I'm the business manager and we still can't figure out how the money gets from those credit card machines to the bank. So, yeah. Okay, so you said, yeah, if you could drop that
I'll drop the
information.
link, and then you could either, if that doesn't work for you, at least like kind of what I was talking about. Maybe you can find something similar in your area.
Thank you.
I'm familiar with Envisionware. I don't know exactly how the back end of it works, but there are a number of libraries here on Long Island that do use Envisionware software, Kathy. So at least it's been heard of. A lot of others are using it. So I don't know how it operates on the back end, but
Yeah, me neither. Thank you.
oh,
So, this is kind of a weird question because I know we're talking about finance and I understand that if you're used to a certain amount of fine money coming in and then you do it, you have to do the alternate and come up with some other way to make money. We, during COVID, stopped charging for printing, faxing, and copying altogether. So people are always donating to us, but we don't ask them for money. And so like charging for extra things is sort of anathema to the part of the socially equitable or the equity for everybody. So you have, it seems like sort of competing things going on. You need to be financially stable, but you also want to make sure everybody can get what they need.
yeah, it's certainly a delicate balance there. You know, between those and like we've
And this is just a comment, it's not like criticism or anything, but it is kind of like, I understand, Rebecca's always talking about the three-legged stool and it's kind of, sometimes you lean towards one and not the other, and your stool could be a little unstable. Also, what's more important to your community?
yeah, which I think is really the heart of it all, is what works for one may not work for another. So, and it's not about perfection. It's about just constantly trying to better your library and your community and helping your patrons. So I don't think that if it works for one, it may not work for you. But I think as long as you're making that effort and working towards it, then that's what it's all about. I think you have the right idea. Laura mentioned in the chat, every library and community is different, but our fines went back into the county's general fund and weren't really a big revenue generator. They dropped them during COVID and were able to use that data as a case for going fine free. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else? Anything else?
I have another off-topic question.
Sure.
Does anybody here have experience with doing like a little area where you put stuff out for people to take? Like, we have lots of donation boxes, but I was looking to have something like outside, somewhere where people could come and take some of those donations. You know, if you had like a particular vendor that you used for the you know, to house it in, that kind of a thing. And what was your experience with that?
Is it books or
No, like food and maybe toiletries or something like that. Or even that, if somebody's had like experience putting like a little thing of toiletries out for people in their bathrooms and stuff.
like just so people
Like
can
little,
just take
yes.
if they need, people in
Mhm.
need? Yeah,
Yeah, people in need take stuff. I mean, we do have people take stuff from our, you know, we have a lot of bins out front where we collect donations and people taking them there as well. But we were trying to like what we could do to put something outside when we were library was not open, you know, or if they wanted to be a little more incognito when they were taking stuff, they didn't want people to see, you know, that kind of a thing. So
yeah. So somebody shared in the chat. They had a Girl Scout project build a little free pantry
yeah, like a little pantry kind of
that is
situation. Yeah.
outside. I know Harbor Fields also does something like that.
Mhm.
And I think recently, I think it was Millbrook Library. They offer like the vegetables that Maplewood has a community fridge. It's
Mhm.
Maplewood. So
We have
that's
a
the what.
community fridge too at Crandall
Oh,
Library in Glens Falls. And it's been a big success. We've had it a year and a half,
Cool.
but it's
and
inside the library.
yeah, Sophia dropped the what Millbrook is doing. It is indoors, but you know, there might be you know, a way to kind of keep it you know, discreet and just like you said, so people can kind of just go in and take what they need and not feel, you know, any kind of way about it. Laura mentioned in the chat they aren't allowed to collect donations from any sort of outside organization. Definitely frustrating. We hear you on that. But thinking about doing some sort of swap program, that's great. That's a great idea. Um, Another way it's a great way for us to help our community members in need by offering these you know, free pantries and everything. Community fridge. Who else would like to share? What else do we have? Anything that you'd like to talk about, or any burning you know, questions or stories that you'd like to share? Well, hopefully thank you everyone for sharing your ideas, and hopefully we, you know, we can all benefit from the things that were shared today. I thank you all for being here and for sharing your stories and asking questions. Our next meetup is March 6th at 1. Um, we look forward to seeing you then. Kristen, I'll follow up on the car charging station with you, and everybody else, enjoy the rest of your week. Thank you for coming, and we'll see you next month. Thank you.